There comes a moment in life when a man begins to notice subtle changes. Energy isn't the same, recovery takes longer, and intimacy doesn't feel as powerful as it once did. But what if the truth is this? It's not just age, it's what's on your plate. Science continues to reveal that certain foods have a direct impact on blood flow, hormone balance, and overall vitality. And there is one particular food, simple, natural, and often overlooked, that has the power to reignite performance, confidence, and sensation in a way that feels almost like turning back time. This isn't about chasing youth, it's about unlocking what your body is still capable of. Because when you fuel it right, everything changes. From your energy, to your confidence, to the intensity of your most personal moments. The body doesn't suddenly lose its power after 50. It simply becomes less forgiving of neglect. What once worked effortlessly now depends heavily on how well the body is supported, especially when it comes to circulation. Blood flow is one of the most critical yet overlooked elements behind physical performance and sensation. It's the invisible force that delivers oxygen, nutrients, and vitality to every part of the body. When circulation is strong, everything feels more responsive, more alive, and more intense. But when it slows down, the effects are immediately noticeable. Reduced sensitivity, slower response, and a lack of that deep, full-body engagement that once felt natural. As time passes, blood vessels can become less flexible, and the efficiency of circulation may decrease. This isn't something that happens overnight, but gradually it begins to influence performance in ways that many men don't initially connect to their lifestyle or diet. Instead, it's often blamed entirely on age. However, the truth is far more empowering, because circulation is something that can be improved, supported, and even revitalized through the right choices. The key lies in understanding that the body is constantly adapting. Give it the wrong fuel, and it operates at a lower level. But give it what it needs, and it responds in powerful ways. Certain foods have the ability to enhance blood flow by supporting the natural widening of blood vessels. When this happens, blood can move more freely, reaching areas that depend on strong circulation for responsiveness and sensation. The result is not just a physical improvement, but a noticeable shift in how the body feels, stronger, more reactive, and more in tune. This is where many overlook the importance of consistency. It's not about a one-time fix or a temporary boost. It's about creating an internal environment where the body can function at its best every single day. When circulation improves, energy levels often rise alongside it. Movements feel lighter, reactions become quicker, and there's a renewed sense of control that many thought was long gone. It's a reminder that the body hasn't lost its ability. It's simply been waiting for the right support. Another important aspect is oxygen delivery. When blood flow is optimized, oxygen reaches muscles and tissues more efficiently. This doesn't just improve endurance, it enhances sensation. The body becomes more aware, more responsive, and more capable of sustaining intensity over time. Instead of feeling limited or restricted, there's a sense of expansion, as if the body is finally working with you rather than against you. What makes this even more powerful is how quickly the body can begin to respond when given the right conditions. Improvements in circulation don't take years to notice. With the right nutritional support, many begin to feel subtle changes in a relatively short period. More warmth, more responsiveness, and a deeper connection to physical experiences. These changes build over time, creating a foundation of strength and vitality that continues to grow. Ultimately, it comes down to this. The body after 50 is not broken. It's simply asking for better support. Circulation is the gateway to performance, sensation, and energy. When it's prioritized and nourished, the results can feel like a revival of something that seemed distant. It's not about going back in time, it's about unlocking what's still there. Waiting to be activated, testosterone plays a far more significant role in a man's life than most people realize. It is not just about physical strength or muscle mass. It is deeply connected to desire, motivation, stamina, and the intensity of personal experiences. As men move past 50, natural testosterone production begins to decline gradually. This shift is completely normal, but the effects can be felt in subtle yet meaningful ways. Energy may dip, drive may not feel as strong, and the spark that once came naturally may seem harder to access. Many accept this as an unavoidable part of aging, but the reality is more flexible than it appears. The body is constantly responding to what it is given. Hormones, including testosterone, are influenced by lifestyle choices, especially nutrition. The foods consumed daily act as signals, either supporting hormone production or quietly suppressing it. When the body lacks essential nutrients, it struggles to maintain optimal levels. But when it is nourished correctly, it can begin to rebalance itself in a way that feels both natural and powerful. Testosterone production relies on a combination of key nutrients, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals that act as building blocks. Without these, the body simply doesn't have what it needs to produce hormones efficiently. For example, certain natural compounds found in whole foods help support the processes that regulate hormone levels. These compounds don't force the body to change. Instead, they encourage it to function the way it was designed to. This is why the right food can have such a noticeable impact over time. What's often overlooked is how closely testosterone is tied to energy and mental clarity. When levels are supported, there is a shift that goes beyond the physical. Focus improves, motivation increases, and there is a stronger sense of presence in everyday life. This mental sharpness naturally carries over into more personal areas, creating a deeper connection and a more engaged experience. It's not just about performance, it's about feeling fully alive and involved in the moment. Another important factor is stamina. Lower testosterone levels are often linked to quicker fatigue and reduced endurance. This can make moments feel shorter, less intense, and less satisfying. But when the body begins to restore balance, endurance improves. There is a steadiness that replaces that sense of limitation, a feeling that the body can sustain effort without quickly wearing down. This alone can completely transform the overall experience. The most empowering part of all of this is that the body is not working against you. It's adapting. If it has been given poor fuel or inconsistent support, it simply adjusts downward. But the moment it starts receiving the right nutrients consistently, it begins to adjust upward. Hormonal balance doesn't require extreme measures, it requires the right environment. And that environment is created through daily choices. Confidence is another layer that is often underestimated. When hormone levels are supported, there is a natural boost in how a man feels about himself. This isn't forced or artificial. It's a direct result of the body functioning more efficiently. That sense of confidence changes posture, mindset, and interaction. It creates a positive cycle where feeling better physically leads to feeling stronger mentally, and vice versa. In the end, testosterone is not something that simply disappears with age. It responds to how the body is treated. By focusing on the right nutritional support, it's possible to maintain a level of vitality, drive, and intensity that many assume is out of reach. The body still has the capability, it just needs the right signals to bring it forward again. There is a specific category of foods that has gained increasing attention when it comes to supporting male vitality after 50. Foods that naturally enhance circulation, oxygen delivery, and cellular energy production. Among these, foods rich in natural nitrates and powerful antioxidants stand out because of how directly they influence blood vessel function. When these compounds enter the body, they are converted into nitric oxide, a molecule that plays a crucial role in relaxing and widening blood vessels. This process allows blood to flow more freely, reducing resistance and improving overall circulation throughout the body. When circulation improves at this level, the effects are not abstract, they are physical and noticeable. Better blood flow means that oxygen and nutrients are delivered more efficiently to muscles, nerves, and tissues. This enhanced delivery system supports stamina, responsiveness, and overall physical sensitivity. For men over 50, this becomes especially important because even small reductions in circulation can significantly affect energy levels and physical performance. When the body receives improved blood flow, it often responds with a renewed sense of vitality that feels both natural and immediate. Antioxidants play an equally important role in this process. As the body ages, oxidative stress gradually increases due to environmental factors, lifestyle habits, and natural metabolic processes. This stress can damage blood vessels and reduce their flexibility, making it harder for blood to circulate efficiently. Antioxidant-rich foods help neutralize these harmful free radicals, protecting the vascular system and supporting long-term cardiovascular health. When blood vessels remain flexible and healthy, the body is better able to maintain strong circulation, which directly supports endurance and physical responsiveness. One of the most remarkable effects of improved nitric oxide production is how it influences physical sensitivity. When blood vessels expand properly, more blood reaches areas that depend on strong circulation for heightened sensation. This doesn't just improve physical performance, it enhances the depth and quality of experience. The body feels more awake, more responsive, and more connected. Movements feel smoother, reactions feel quicker, and there is a noticeable increase in overall physical awareness. Another important aspect is endurance. Reduced circulation often leads to quicker fatigue because muscles are not receiving enough oxygen to sustain prolonged activity. When nitric oxide levels rise naturally through proper nutrition, oxygen delivery becomes more efficient, allowing the body to maintain effort for longer periods without strain. This translates into greater stamina, not just in physical activity, but in all aspects of energy usage throughout the day. There is a steadier, more balanced flow of energy that replaces the peaks and crashes often associated with poor circulation. What makes this process even more powerful is that it works with the body's natural systems rather than against them. Instead of forcing artificial stimulation, these foods support the internal mechanisms already responsible for regulating blood flow and vascular health. Over time, consistent consumption can lead to noticeable improvements in how the body feels and performs. The changes are not just temporary boosts, but gradual enhancements that build a stronger foundation for long-term vitality. It is also important to recognize how closely circulation is tied to confidence and presence. When the body feels energized and responsive, it naturally influences mindset. There is a greater sense of control, ease, and assurance in physical abilities. This internal shift often reflects outwardly, creating a cycle where improved physical function supports stronger mental and emotional confidence. Ultimately, supporting nitric oxide production through the right foods is not about reversing age. It is about optimizing function. The body remains capable of powerful performance well beyond 50 when it is properly supported. By prioritizing foods that enhance circulation and protect vascular health, it becomes possible to experience a level of vitality, responsiveness, and endurance that feels renewed and deeply sustainable. Energy is often misunderstood as something that simply runs out with age, but in reality, it is a system that depends heavily on how efficiently the body produces and uses fuel. After 50, many men notice that stamina doesn't feel as steady as it once did. There may still be moments of strong energy, but they don't last as long, and recovery between those moments takes more time. This shift is not just about aging. It is about how the body's energy systems respond to nutrition, circulation, and hormonal balance. At the core of sustained energy is cellular function. Every movement, every reaction, every physical response depends on tiny energy-producing units within the body. These units require a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients to function properly. When circulation is strong, these cells operate efficiently, producing steady and reliable energy. But when blood flow is reduced, energy production becomes inconsistent, leading to fatigue, slower response times, and reduced endurance. One of the most important differences after 50 is how the body manages glucose and oxygen. In younger years, energy can feel almost effortless because the body quickly converts fuel into usable power. As time goes on, this process becomes less efficient if not properly supported. The result is not a complete loss of energy, but a fluctuation, moments of strength followed by sudden drops. This is where nutrition becomes a defining factor in restoring balance. Certain foods play a direct role in stabilizing energy production. Complex nutrients help slow and steady the release of fuel into the bloodstream, preventing sharp spikes and crashes. At the same time, minerals such as magnesium and potassium support muscle function and nerve signaling, allowing the body to maintain performance for longer periods. When these nutrients are consistently present, the body begins to shift from unstable bursts of energy to a smoother, more reliable rhythm. Another key factor is oxygen efficiency. Energy is not only about fuel, it is about how well that fuel is converted into usable power. When oxygen delivery improves through better circulation, the body becomes more efficient at turning nutrients into energy. This means less strain during physical activity and a greater ability to sustain effort without feeling drained. Even subtle improvements in oxygen flow can make a noticeable difference in stamina and endurance. Fatigue in later years is often not just physical. It is also linked to how quickly the body recovers. Recovery is an essential part of energy management. When the body recovers slowly, even small activities can feel exhausting. But when nutrition supports cellular repair and reduces inflammation, recovery becomes faster and more effective. This allows energy levels to remain more stable throughout the day instead of dropping sharply after exertion. There is also a mental aspect to energy that is often overlooked. When the body feels weak or tired, the mind begins to mirror that state. Motivation decreases, focus becomes harder, and even simple tasks can feel overwhelming. But when physical energy improves, mental clarity follows naturally. The connection between body and mind becomes more aligned, creating a sense of control and readiness that extends into all areas of life. The most powerful realization is that energy is not fixed, it is responsive. It reacts to what the body is given, how it is cared for, and how consistently it is supported. Small, daily improvements in nutrition can gradually transform how energy is experienced. Instead of unpredictable highs and lows, the body begins to maintain a steady, sustainable flow of vitality. Ultimately, improved energy after 50 is not about trying to return to the past. It is about optimizing the present. When the body is properly fueled, oxygenated, and supported, it can perform at a surprisingly high level. Stamina becomes more consistent, fatigue becomes less disruptive, and everyday life feels more active and engaging. The body does not lose its ability to generate energy. It simply needs the right conditions to do it efficiently again. Confidence is not something that exists in isolation. It is deeply connected to how a man feels inside his own body. After 50, when physical changes begin to appear, confidence is often the first thing to quietly shift. It does not disappear suddenly. Instead, it weakens gradually when energy drops, when performance feels inconsistent, or when the body no longer responds with the same reliability it once did. This internal shift can influence posture, voice, mindset, and even the way a man carries himself in daily life. What is often overlooked is that confidence is not only psychological, it is biological as well. When the body is functioning efficiently, there is a natural sense of control and stability. Hormones are balanced, circulation is strong, and energy is steady. These factors create an internal foundation that supports self-assurance without effort. But when these systems become less efficient, confidence begins to feel forced, as if it must be mentally maintained rather than naturally experienced. One of the strongest influences on confidence is physical responsiveness. When the body reacts quickly, moves smoothly, and maintains endurance, there is an unconscious sense of capability. This creates ease in behavior and presence. However, when the body feels slower or less predictable, hesitation can begin to replace certainty. Even small changes in stamina or sensitivity can affect how a man perceives himself, especially in private and personal moments where physical performance is closely tied to emotional assurance. Nutrition plays a powerful role in restoring this internal balance. When the body receives consistent support from nutrient-rich foods, it begins to function more efficiently. Energy stabilizes, circulation improves, and hormonal activity becomes more regulated. These changes do not only affect physical performance, they reshape how a man feels about himself. There is a gradual return of ease, strength, and control that naturally rebuilds confidence from within. Another important aspect is the connection between confidence and momentum. When the body feels strong, motivation increases. Simple tasks feel more manageable, and challenges feel less overwhelming. This creates a positive cycle. Better physical performance leads to stronger mental outlook, which then reinforces physical engagement. Over time, this cycle builds a more stable and grounded sense of self-assurance that is not easily shaken by temporary fluctuations in mood or energy. Breathing and posture also reflect internal confidence levels. When energy is low or circulation is weak, posture tends to collapse slightly, and breathing becomes shallow. This physical state sends signals to the brain that reinforce fatigue or uncertainty. But when the body is energized and well supported, posture naturally improves. Breathing deepens, shoulders open, and there is a more grounded physical presence. These subtle shifts have a powerful impact on how confidence is experienced and expressed. There is also an emotional dimension to confidence that becomes more prominent with age. Many men begin to reflect on past performance, comparing what once was to what currently is. This comparison can either weaken confidence or become a turning point for transformation. When the focus shifts from loss to optimization, everything changes. The body is no longer seen as declining, but as adaptable. This mindset alone can begin to restore a sense of control and possibility. As the body becomes better supported through nutrition and healthy habits, confidence starts to return in layers. First comes physical improvement, more energy, better endurance, stronger responsiveness. Then comes mental clarity, sharper focus, improved motivation, greater emotional stability. Finally, there is emotional confidence, the feeling of being steady, capable, and present in one's own life again. Ultimately, confidence after 50 is not about chasing youth. It is about restoring alignment between body and mind. When the body is functioning at a higher level, confidence is no longer something that needs to be manufactured. It becomes a natural outcome of how the body feels and performs. And when that internal strength returns, it influences every part of life, from personal interactions to private experiences, creating a deeper sense of assurance that feels both grounded and real. Aging is often treated as a one-way path, as if decline is inevitable and nothing can be done to influence the direction of the body after a certain point. But the reality is far more flexible. The human body is constantly renewing itself, adapting to what it is given and responding to how it is treated. After 50, the difference between decline and vitality often comes down to one thing: daily choices. Small, consistent habits, especially in nutrition and lifestyle, can either slow the body down or help it function at a surprisingly high level for many years. The truth is that the body does not suddenly lose its ability to perform. Instead, it becomes more sensitive to imbalance. Poor nutrition, lack of movement, stress, and inconsistent routines begin to show their effects more clearly. Energy may fluctuate, recovery may slow, and sensitivity in both physical and mental states may decrease. But these changes are not permanent locks. They are signals. Signals that the body needs better support, not surrender. When the right conditions are restored, the body begins to respond in powerful ways. One of the most important principles is consistency. The body does not transform based on occasional effort, it responds to repeated patterns. When nutritious food is consistently provided, circulation improves, hormone balance becomes more stable, and cellular function becomes more efficient. These improvements do not happen overnight, but they accumulate, building a stronger foundation over time. Another important factor is adaptability. The body has an incredible ability to adjust itself when given the right environment. If circulation has slowed, it can improve. If energy has become inconsistent, it can stabilize. If responsiveness has diminished, it can return. But this requires patience and understanding. The body works in cycles, not instant reactions. Each positive choice builds on the last, gradually shifting the system toward better performance. What is often underestimated is how deeply interconnected all systems of the body are. Energy, circulation, hormones, mental clarity, and emotional stability are not separate functions. They are linked. When one improves, others often follow. For example, better blood flow enhances oxygen delivery, which improves energy production. Better energy improves mood and motivation. Improved mood supports consistency and habits. This chain reaction is what creates real transformation over time. It is also important to recognize the role of inflammation and internal stress. As the body ages, low-level inflammation can build up due to diet, stress, and environmental factors. This can affect everything from energy levels to physical responsiveness. However, when the body is supported with anti-inflammatory nutrition and balanced routines, this internal stress can be reduced. As inflammation decreases, the body begins to function more smoothly, and many of the discomforts associated with aging begin to ease. Mental perspective also plays a major role in how the body performs. When aging is seen as decline, the body often follows that belief pattern through stress and neglect. But when aging is seen as adaptation and optimization, the body responds differently. There is more motivation to care for it, more attention to detail, and more willingness to support long-term health. This mindset shift alone can influence physical outcomes in a meaningful way. The most empowering truth is that vitality is not something reserved for youth. It is something that can be supported and maintained through conscious living. The body after 50 is still capable of strength, energy, and responsiveness. It simply requires more intentional care. When that care is given consistently, the results can be surprising. Energy becomes more stable, recovery improves, and overall performance feels more balanced and controlled. In the end, aging does not have to mean decline. It can mean refinement, a stage where the body becomes more responsive to care, more efficient with the right support, and more stable with consistent habits. The difference between fatigue and vitality is not just time, it is attention. And when the body is given that attention, it often responds with more strength and capability than expected.